we're going to talk about what they need from others. So I gave some hints when we were going through the other ones, but let's really talk about what these doshas need from others. So Vatas need freedom of expression. They need to be able to be heard. They need to be able to sing or play music or dance or act or hula hoop or roller skate or whatever they're going to do. They're going to paint. They can do whatever they're going to do. They need freedom and space to be able to do that. If we take away all of the things that give them expression and give them space, they are going to get sad in a hot second, and they're going to stay there until some sort of life and expression come back into their life. They need to be able to do that. Okay. They need confidence builders. So while confidence doesn't really come from the outside, we can help people build their confidence. We can cheerlead a little bit more, right? We can tell them, like, you got this. You've done this before in this way. Like, look at how far you've already come. Oh my gosh, you're almost there. Keep going. Because confidence can really get crumbled in a Vata kind of quickly. So they need constant reminders, like, you're okay. Like, you got this. They don't have ground. They don't have earth. They don't have water. They don't have fire. They're like way out in the ether with the air, right? And so they need confidence builders. They also need to feel safe. So notice all of these things are kind of grounding. The freedom of expression is a little bit spatial, but all of these other things are bringing them back to ground, bringing them back to home, so they feel like they're sturdy. Anything you can do to make a Vata feel safe. Like, don't worry, I got your back. You're not in this alone. We're in this together. It's all good. And point out the things that they already have to feel safe with. Also point out what they're doing right versus what they're doing wrong. If we picky pick on a Vata person, they are gonna they will lose their gusto, they'll lose their luster, motivation, exuberance, and they'll just be sad. So point out what they're doing right versus what they're doing wrong. And be like, ooh, if you want to do a little bit better, here's a little tip. Okay? They appreciate that. They like tips because they're bite-sized. Lots of like bite-sized things. They also need a realistic amount of things to do because they're going to want to take it all. So a Vata might be like, somebody be like, I need a volunteer for Vata's going to be like, ooh, me, I want to volunteer. And you're like, yeah, you already have 12 things on your plate. You can't have another thing. So they need somebody to help them like get rid of all the extra things that they have because they tend to take on a lot of things, multitask, and not really finish them. So give them like a few things to do. That's it. That's it. And then they'll remember to do those things. My daughter this morning, what the heck was she getting out of her bedroom? Oh gosh, I was like, can you find your lunch bag, please, and put it on the counter along with your water bottle? And she's like, like she's all in her robe and she's doing something. And then she goes away and she's like, did you see this puppet thing that I made? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what were you doing? What were you gonna go get? And she was like, my lunchbox and my water bottle. Can you go get that, please? Yeah. And she goes around, she goes and does something else, and she's like floating around. She comes back, something else in her hand. I'm like, dude. I was like, do you remember what you're supposed to get for me? She's like, my lunchbox and my water bottle. I'm like, why don't you go do that right now? And she's like, okay. And then finally she did it, but oh my goodness. I only had to repeat myself twice. That wasn't terrible. So when 5 times, 6 times, I'm like, okay. Pittas. What do Pittas need from others? They need follow through. If you give a Pitta a promise, follow through. If you can't follow through, you have to tell them what you're going to do to make up for that and when they can expect it. I'm telling you, if you don't do that with the Pittas in your life already, if you make that change, your relationships will improve so much just by doing that little thing. They don't want to be left in the dark, because they need to know, they want to know how to manage their own life and their own schedule. So follow through with a Pitta. Pittas would appreciate extra time. They love time. They're obsessed with time. They think they don't have enough time. They think time flies away. They love and hate time. And so if you can give a Pitta extra time, that would be amazing. Be like, you know what? I'm going to give you a little extra time today. I'm going to go down to the bookstore for half an hour and just kind of hang out and browse, and you can just have some time. It'd be amazing. A friend of mine, and also she's also one of my coaching clients. She's an attorney, and she I was picking up my daughter from school and I said, hey, can I grab your daughter too? And I'll just bring her to our house. And then she's like, sure, I'll be there like 15 minutes after. And I was like, why don't you take an hour? The girls can stay here. We'll feed them. And she geeked out. She's like, oh my God, I went home and I organized my books. She's like, I puttered. I could just putter around my house by myself for an hour. These are the kind of things that we have to do for each other. Give Pittas some time. Give them some recognition. That's the other one, is give them a little kudos. Give them recognition. I so appreciate blah, blah, blah. I so admire blah, blah, blah. You just saved me just then. Thank you so much. Recognize their hard work. And they will champion you. They'll be with you for the long haul. They will love you. And like I've said before, they need to know your intent. Share your intent with Pittas, or they will ask you and nag you and boss you, and they will get upset because you didn't tell them what you're doing and you changed your mind or whatever, or you're being slow. I don't know. Either one of those things. But tell them your intent. Are these fun? Okay. I'm having fun. I love this. I geeked out when I was making this. I put on music. Kaphas, what kaphas need from others, they need to be included. They love the people. Please do not exclude a kapha. They want to be in it with you. They want to be part of the party. They want to be like, you know, having a good time with people. Because I think sometimes kaphas feel like they get the grunt work sometimes. Because they will, they'll just do it. They'll do it happy. But like, include them on things. Invite them. Bring them along. Super fun. They need nudging, though. So sometimes kaphas need nudging. I have an example from these two things. This last week in Wisconsin, I brought my daughter there, and we were with my mom. And when my mom and my stepdad, were out here a couple of months ago, we did a painting night. I just taught a painting night, you know, like those painting and wine nights. We just did that outside because I was like, we need an activity. And they had so much fun. My mom was like, let's do it when you come to Wisconsin. So we did. And my mom's friend Barb, I've known since I was like 2, and she's very kapha. She laughs a lot. Her laugh is contagious. But she was like, I don't know about this painting thing. She's like, I've never made a painting in my life. And I was like, you're going to do it. And then she cracks up laughing. Like, she has this great laugh. And she's like, yeah, right. And I was like, no, you will. And she didn't really want to do it. She was like, I don't know what I'm going to paint. I don't know how. So I have a picture and I walk everybody through these paintings. It's awesome. And I told her, I'm like, you're going to be so surprised at what you create. And because she's kapha, she followed the rules and she trusted me and she just did it. And she did all her things. And she was like, I can't even believe I did that. And I was like, there you go. And I didn't say, see, I was right. I didn't get all Pitta like that. I was just like, there you go. Look at how amazing this is. You don't even know all the things you have inside you until it's allowed to come out. And you have a teacher who cares, and you have a safe environment of people. But she needed nudging, man. She wasn't going to go doing a painting class by herself. She needed nudging. And because she loved me and my mom, she's like, all right, I'll do it for the people I love. But it wasn't because she wanted to do it. So that's how you got to kind of be a little bit persuasive with the kaphas. Like, nudging. It's going to be fun. Give them some adventure. That's the other one on the list here. Adventure. They will not seek out adventure, but if you take them on one, they'll have a great time. They'll be so glad they did. They need kindness. Don't, being hard on a kapha is it's like harming an elephant. They don't hurt anybody. They're very strong. They're very peaceful. They're very loving. So be kind to a kapha. Give them more kindness with gentle nudging and adventure, and give them a fun challenge. So that even goes along with the exercise stuff. Like, don't have to make it too sore. You got to make it a lot of fun. It's got to be challenging though, because kaphas can be hard to move. So give them a challenge. Let them step into something that they've never done before. They'll just think it's so amazing. Like, the world just starts to sparkle for them, and they're like, oh, this is great. I never had this food, or I never made this food, or I've never been to this place. I've never painted a painting before. And they will just love it. So let's go to page 7. I'm going to give you some tough love, but it's only if you're feeling these kinds of problems. So for Vatas, if you're flaky and late, they won't believe you. Like, people will just start to not believe you. If you're flaking, if you're not telling people what you're doing, if you're consistently late, they are not going to believe you or trust you, which sucks. So get better at that, right? Pittas, if you're bossy and critiquing, they will avoid you. They will not want to be around you. They will avoid you. They will avoid eye contact. They will avoid you in meetings. They will avoid so that they don't get bossed or critiqued. This is where we really have to do some reflection on ourselves and say, like, am I being that way? Sometimes, not all. I'm not saying people are like this all the time, but sometimes we can be, and sometimes it can create that little ding in the relationship. And if it's habitual, it creates big problems in the relationships. Kaphas, if you're stubborn, they're going to leave you behind. So Kaphas can be stubborn if they want to, but they also need to be able to say, yes, I'm going to take a step into that adventure so that I don't get left behind. Because the things that Kaphas love the most is to be with everybody, right? And the things that Pittas love the most is to lead everybody. And the things that Vatas love the most is to be able to express themselves to everybody and share. So that's why I bring up these things. So make sure you're not doing some of these, because these could be the problems.